Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach, and it's going to be Teamlist Tuesday on a Wednesday because I do the videos on Tuesday. We upload it on a Wednesday, but let's go through round 3 of the season. I haven't actually heard anything yet. I haven't been on Twitter, so we'll be going in with a fresh look. I know a couple of players who were sort of like probably out. So yeah, obviously Fisher Harris is gone. So yeah, Lindsay Smith goes into the starting prop. I guess we're hoping Liam Henry did, but obviously it made sense. Lindsay Smith goes there. Hopefully Liam Henry still gets a few more minutes potentially. Whether or not that happens, I don't know. I mean, they've only got 2 genuine front rowers on the bench. I mean, Luke Garner could play through the middle, but yeah, we'll see. And then for the Bronx, obviously Reynolds is out with Jock Madden coming in. Looks like, I know Ezra was under a cloud, but he's named. Payne Haas's name, so that's, I mean, it's good. I would keep an eye on late mail, especially with Payne Haas, for a potential late out, but hopefully he does play. And then, yeah, the bench is the same. Xavier Willison still can't get a gig, which I don't really understand. I gotta be honest, I was half hoping Tristan Saylor would get a spot in the halves, but it does make sense. I mean, Jock Madden is a pretty solid halfback. Tristan Saylor, I think, is far too good to not be playing NRL, but yeah, just for the way the team is, either if they're 5'8" or fullback, yeah, Tristan Saylor would come straight in, but the halfback going down, obviously Cogger is the man to come in. But yeah, nothing really Supercoach relevant in this game for me. I mean, the only one, Liam Henry, who is my second 2RF. So I mean, hopefully he has a big game. I'm expecting big things from him, and if he can just get a few more minutes, oh baby, it'd be lovely. But let's look the Warriors v Raiders. Okay, so there's a couple of big ones to look here. Let's just go straight down. Elliott Whitehead has been named to start in the back row, which, I mean, I can't believe so many people were like, I get people were excited, and yes, it makes sense. Like Hosking, I think everybody can see that Hosking is a better player than Elliott Whitehead at this stage of their careers, but Ricky Stewart loves Whitehead. He is the captain, so it was his spot. You know, he was just out injured, so, I mean, Hosking, I'm assuming he's just on the bench. Yeah, he's on the bench. He's such a good player, but he just can't. Oh, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I feel like he could be like a genuine star back rower in pretty much any team in the comp, but for whatever reason, I guess edge back rowers, like, they are just a dime a dozen, and most clubs, I guess, have like 2 standard back rowers that they've had. You get the odd club that they lose a back rower that they've had for a long time and there's a spot opened up, but for the most part, the back row spot is a very, very competitive field. Hosking he's too damn good not to be playing, but unfortunately for people that wanted to bring him in, he's no go now. Even like, I don't know, people might still think he might get a late call up to the starting spot. I just don't see it. Like, I guess it'll be interesting as well. What do they do with Hosking? Does he come on and replace Whitehead? I'm trying to think. I think Whitehead, yeah, I think last year he did start playing a few less minutes, so he probably just spells Whitehead. But I don't know. They've got a. Well, no, they've still got Starling as the 14 and the two front rowers. They've just dropped Ari or Atta Mariota, so less middle, but I guess Hosking could play through the middle potentially, or just, yeah, spell Whitehead, but we'll see. It probably doesn't affect Smithies, I would imagine. It'll be interesting to see next week when Corey Horsburgh comes back, because I mean, everyone is very keen on Smithies, but again, it's Ricky Stewart. he might drop Smithies to the bench and put Horsburgh at lock. I mean, I think we all think that he's going to go to prop. and Smithies will stay at lock, which I think will happen, but you never know. You never know. It could put a spanner in our works for Morgan Smithies. But then on the flip side, Wade Egan looks like he's back, hopefully fit to go. Again, I'd keep an eye on late mail. He could be a late scratching, potentially with that elbow injury. But yeah, the rest, all good. Tuapiki still there. It seems like they're saying Charnsey back in round 5, potentially, which is, honestly, it could be perfect because there are a couple of cheapy centre wingers that we can hold off for now. And at that stage, it could be perfect for Tuapiki. He makes a bit of cash, and if there is a genuine guy to bring in, then you could switch him to someone or try to upgrade him to a keeper. So it'd be nice if Tuapiki stayed there for a bit longer, but he's gonna get a couple of price rises. He scored some really valuable points thus far, and I think he's going to continue to do so. So he's been a very solid pickup. Tulvashek looking very good, and yeah, the forward pack strong as ever. I mean, the Warriors have been good. They've been very good. So we'll see. We'll see if they can. I don't know. That's a hard game to pick. I'd probably be picking the Warriors. So we cut out for a second there. I was just talking about the Raiders being surprisingly pretty good as well. But let's go Roosters v Rabbits. So I don't think there's too much here. Backline obviously Keary's out, so Sandon Smith goes into 6. Brandon Smith, dummy half, Tupanua. Nat Butcher comes into the starting side, and Angus Crichton is on the bench. So Sia Wong is he injured? No, he's in the extended bench, so he's been dropped, I guess. Bit of a rotation policy. Terrell May, he's on the bench, but again, I don't really get why coaches do this. Like, is it really like a trick against the other coaches in the comp that they put their forward from the bench and they start him on game day? Like, why not just give him the starting jersey? I don't understand. Like, opposition coaches really like shocked, and they're scrambling because a front rower gets a start over another guy. I honestly don't get it. It's great to see Connor Watson there as well in the 14. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It looks like a stronger team. Like, just the fact having Connor Watson as the 14 instead of Sandon Smith. I mean, Luke Keary hasn't been in the best of form, so Sandon Smith going to 6. Connor Watson is going to add so much coming on the field, just absolutely terrorizing the middle portion. I think this is a stronger looking outfit. I mean, Sia Wong, obviously a very good young talent, but yeah, last game didn't have his best. I mean, if you look at his stats, you're probably like, oh, he made a couple of line breaks and he looked good, but he had a few really bad errors and a couple of poor tackles, missed tackles. So I get it. He's a young kid. And this is the other point with Tupanua. Like, I'm still not sold on Tupanua, and the fact, I mean, Angus Crichton on the bench, like, he definitely could do the exact same. Like, I don't know. Did they do the exact same rotation where now Crichton goes on for Butcher, and then after like 60 minutes, Butcher goes back out for Tupanua? I don't know. It's probably a wait and see now to see the minutes for Tupanua, because again, he's such a good value price that even if he gets 50, he could still make some cash despite that poor first game. So hopefully it'd be great if he could bang out 50 plus this game, and just the minutes being there. Like, I thought it was pretty good. I actually thought Tupanua was good last week as well. They just didn't give him the ball too much. Like, he looked dangerous at times, but he didn't get his hands on the footy overly. But obviously Trent Robinson loves Tupanua because he was sort of the main guy in the rotation, it seems. Like, Sia Wong, not on the outer, but obviously not set in stone. Angus Crichton has been, not about there, but he's back. Had a bit of a poor performance in the trials, which maybe gave him a couple of weeks off. So, yeah, it's going to be, I don't know. Who knows? Next week, fucking Sia Wong's back and Tupanua gets a spell. It could be a rotation policy with the back rowers, but it's a strong team regardless. And then the Rabbits, we've got, Jack One comes back in. Richard Kenner goes. Tane Milne's still there. No Jacob Gagai. Womp womp. It's frustrating, but it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. Dean Hawkins comes in for Ilias. I did actually see Ilias was potentially dropped, so they have brought in Dean Hawkins, which I don't know. We'll see how Dean Hawkins goes. I've seen him a little bit, not a lot, but haven't been overly impressed with Dean Hawkins, so I don't know if it really changes too much, but I think Ilias, there's a couple of the guys here, I get it's a tough one because I think Ilias probably does deserve to get dropped because he's been pretty poor for a while now, and he's very good defensively, but I don't see too much else from Ilias. He just doesn't. You don't even notice him being out there, and as a starting halfback, that is not good. It's just not. But on the flip side, you look at some of the other Rabbitohs players, and they probably deserve to get the boot as well. Like Cody Walker has been pretty shocking. A couple other guys have not really stood up, so they sort of got rid of the young kid, but he probably does need a bit of a rocker, and hopefully come back better than ever. But I don't know. I just don't know if he's a NRL level halfback, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with this Rabbits team. I'm honestly expecting. I mean, it's going to be a fiery game, but I just don't see how the Rabbitohs win unless Mitchell and Walker have just absolute blinders, which they could do. And I mean, Jack Wine coming back in, it is a big boost for them. Defensively and also just a strike weapon. So it's going to be good to see Wine back as well to see how he goes. And then also, what is Jack Wine? What is he this year in Supercoach? Is he just 5'8" still, or is he just centre wing? Because I don't know. I'm interested to see. He obviously, I wouldn't be picking Wine up, but he's probably at yeah. I mean, the Rabbits definitely aren't playing well enough to go him, but you never know. If the Rabbitohs start to fire, Jack Wine, he wouldn't be at he's probably 500, 550 at tops. So maybe one to keep an eye on with Wine, depending where he is. Well, I don't know. Is he dual centre wing 5'8", or is he just centre? Honestly, I can't remember. I don't remember seeing him, but they talked about him just playing centre this year, so they probably switched him to centre on Supercoach. Front row, so Davey Mawale comes into the starting lineup, which is, very good for people that started Mawale. He scored a try last week, got 60-odd points. He's actually one cheapy front rower. He scored 30 in the first week, and I was talking him down, he's going to make, maybe 100k at most, but all of a sudden he scores a try. Now we start, so, there is a temptation to trade a Farmasili to Mawale, but I just don't want to do that. I've talked about it before, but I don't want to make so many trades in the front row. I've already made too many, and I don't want to. If I trade a cheapie to another cheapie, yes, Miley's going to make some money, but you're going to have to trade him again anyway. You're not gonna keep Mawale till the end of the season. Otherwise, he's gonna lose all that cash, and it won't be for anything. You're not gonna play him. So, I at the moment just hold the front rowers, take the cheapies, but eventually probably try to get up to keepers with one trade or just enough out one. But we'll talk more about that in previews and whatnot. Jacob Host comes straight back in. Obviously, he was. I don't remember any sort of reports, but he was obviously out injured last week. Again, people were very keen on Tallis Duncan. It was actually. I'm really annoyed that Tallis Duncan ended up going back to the bench last week, because if Duncan started, the amount of people that was so keen on Duncan last week, it was it was just like people were going insane. It was like, obviously Host is gonna come back in. It made no sense that Host was just out of the team altogether when he was always sort of the backup second row forward. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't really like Host. I don't think he's very good, but he's always been the second cab off the rank. So, God, it's so annoying. Everyone was so keen on Duncan, but I'm sure when he got pushed back to the bench, a lot of people jumped off the hype. But yeah, it would have been good, because I was definitely never going Duncan until we saw. But there was a lot of people talking like you should go early on him, which was insane. But yeah, that also moves Sean Keppie back to the bench, which is, I don't know. Do the minutes change too much between Keppie and Moali? Potentially. If you went Keppie at the start of the season, like, he's been fine, but going back to the bench now, it's a bit of a kick in the guts, because yeah, they could switch. Moali may now play a few more minutes. Keppie might play a few less. So, interesting watch. And I mean, I guess that's like, if Moali does come out and punch out 40 minutes, then I mean, sure, maybe you do try to get him in, but I would like to, before jumping on, especially after a try, like, it just feels bad to get a front row forward after he's gone, like a big score from a try. It just seems like a trap. But if he starts, and like, he's looked pretty good. He's actually looked pretty good the first couple of rounds. He's looked powerful and pretty involved. Let's go on to the Dogs v Titans. This is another game. I think I heard that, yeah, the big boys weren't back yet. Obviously, Farmasili is out. The back line, yeah, out of cards, obviously still out. Connor Tracy there. Liam Knight comes straight from reserves into the starting rotation, which is also interesting. Yeah, it'll be a good watch on Liam Knight, because I've seen the stats. He obviously had like an unbelievable New South Wales Cup game at prop. Like, his base and his minutes were unreal. But that's, it's a different ball game playing in the NRL. But the thing here is I actually the thing about, I actually think this is worse for Sam. Well, it probably doesn't affect Sam Hughes, because Sam Hughes just seems like he plays 25 to 30 minutes. That's just what he's going to play. We were sort of hoping that he's going to be a bigger minute front rower, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. But I think Liam Knight coming into the starting lineup is worse for Curran, if I'm being honest. Like, I know a lot of people are going Curran, and I am very tempted as well, but Farmasili played 20 minutes up front and we just don't know what the rotation is like for Curran, because in the first game, Salmon went out to play centre because Adokar got injured, so Curran probably played a few extra minutes there. Maybe not. It could have been planned anyway. But then round 2 last week, Farmasili gets knocked out in the first hit-up of the game. Like, first hit-up of the game, you lose your front row forward. So, very clearly, Sam Hughes didn't play more minutes, so Curran definitely played more minutes. Now, I think, like, Curran can play those minutes, but Max King potentially is a big minute forward. He hasn't been great this year. I thought Max King would be a little better to start the year, honestly. But Liam Knight is, I mean, are they really going to do, like, is Liam Knight really going to play 20 minutes up front like Farmasili and then not play the rest of the game? I just don't see, I think Liam Knight is a better player than Farmasili. I think Farmasili works well for that little, like, impact if they wanted to do it, because, like, I think Farmasili is actually pretty good. Like, he comes out, he goes full throttle, he's a strong carrier, but he doesn't have a big motor, right? Liam Knight, he is more of sort of a toiler. Like, he's not as ferocious as like a Farmasili with his carries and stuff like that. So it's, I don't know, like, I was so keen on going Curran, but honestly, the fact Liam Knight is starting now, I think I just gotta wait on Curran. Like, I know he scored well last week and he is going to make some money, but I don't know. Well, again, we gotta look at our options, but I just don't think Curran is the I think he's a good option this week. I just don't think he's a great option now. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe Liam Knight does only play 20-25 and Curran still plays, 55 minutes plus. I don't know. I mean, he's good. Like, Curran's really good. He should be playing bigger minutes, but the fact I cannot believe Salmon is still starting, dude. Like, I know people keep saying Salmon's looking good, but is he really looking good? He passes the ball occasionally, but fuck me, Dad. Curran can do that as well, but he just provides more impact. I just don't understand. I just don't understand at all, but I'm not an NRL coach, so what do I know? But yeah, I think, personally, I do think this hinders Curran, potentially, but yeah, I don't know. I want to wait and see this week. Hopefully there's no fucking injuries in the Bulldogs forward pack so we can see, the back line. There's no injuries in this game for the Dogs so we can see what the minutes are sort of typically going to be like. It's so annoying. Then the Titans. Kieran Foran's back, which is good, but still no Dave Fafita or Jaden Campbell, it's big outs. We're sort of potentially tipping them to come back this round, but obviously a week or two away still. And then, Jamin Jolliffe comes in the starting lock and Palacia goes to the bench. So hopefully anyone that had Palacia, hopefully you've got rid of him now. I mean, he was like 380k, so he was such an easy trade up to Terrell May. If you didn't do it last week, you have to do it this week, or just fucking nuff him out or get in Liam Henry. You got to get rid of Palacia if you've got him still. Nothing else really there. What's the next game? Dragons Cowboys. Okay, Dragons Cowboys. Okay, took a little long to load. We're back. Dragons. What are we looking at here? So obviously Molo is suspended. Jacob Little is out. Yeah, I guess he copped a couple of knocks. I was surprised he came back from the first knock, but then he copped another hit. So I don't know if it is concussion or maybe something else, but I'm assuming a head knock. The back line is pretty standard other than that. Jesse Marschke comes into start at dummy half. Actually, I think he's a pretty okay player, Jesse Marschke. Luciano Leilua now comes into the starting side with Jaden Sewer and Tom Eisenhuth goes to lock. Still got Mulhausen, Michael Morello, Fatala Mariner, and Viliami Fafita now is in the 17. So, I don't know. It doesn't really change too much. I think if you're a Viliami Fafita owner, I actually think it's better if he doesn't play. But the thing is that when Molo comes back, Fafita probably drops out again. So I wouldn't be too bothered either way. He just could be a bit of an AE nightmare if you want to loop this week or however long Frankie Molo's out. And then the Cows, obviously Helam Lukey is gone. Oh, I just can't catch a break. Myself and Helam Lukey. We're just... it's a rough one. But rest of it's pretty standard. Fini Fuiaki comes into start, which, he's a good prospect for sure. I don't know what he's probably close like 350, I think, I want to say. I think I remember seeing him around that 330, 350 mark. Unfortunately, fucking Jack Gazzeski is on the bench. Why? That makes it a little bit dubious. I still think Fini Fuiaki is a very good pickup. You can probably, again, he's another guy that I don't think you have to go. There's been so many plays this year so far that you can just wait. You can just wait. Even he is going to make some cash, but the fact Gazzeski's on the bench, obviously Finifuaki is going to play decent minutes. So if you go him, it's not a trap. It's not a trap. It's not going to be a terrible decision, but it might not be as good as you'd hope because Gazzeski, he is a back rower. I mean, again, he could play through the middle, but like Granville, for some fucking reason, still plays through the middle. Obviously, Neem and McIntyre are middle rotation, so it looks like Gudzeski will probably spell Fuiaki, but again, another decent chance to wait and see. Unless you go again, going early, I don't think is a bad idea because Lukey is definitely out for at least 6 weeks. So unless Fini Fuiaki has an absolute shocker or gets injured, then he'll probably keep the starting spot and play decent minutes. So it's not a trap by any means, but again, if you don't need to make the trade, I think you can potentially wait on it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. See the rotation there. West Tigers v Sharkies. There's only a couple of interesting things here. So, okay, so the cheapie Fatape is still in because Stafford Toa is gone. I can't remember the severity of the injury, but he's probably gone for a few weeks at least. Justin Olam obviously comes straight back in, but yeah, the cheapie retains his spot because Toa is out. So, I mean, again, I wouldn't be going for Tape. Like, yeah, I don't know. He looked fine. He looked okay, but I just can't, like, I mean, for one, I can't see the Tigers outside backs really being that relevant anyway, and then also the job security is just not there for him. So I think he's a bit of a trap to go. I'm excited to see Justin Olam put on a Tigers jersey. It'll make them more enjoyable to watch for sure, and hopefully Olam can, get back to some of his rampaging best and help the boys out. Aiden Caesar does come in for Sullivan, which, I mean, fuck, it just makes more sense, right? Like, oh man. Fone Pole has come into the starting side as well, so that, yeah, Seyfarth is back to the bench, and, well, Sullivan is the 14. I mean, this fucking makes sense as well. Like, Pole was so damn good in his, like, debut, like, first few games. Like, I just didn't understand why Seyfarth, like, I don't know. There were just some interesting choices in that first game. Like, I know Seyfarth looked good in the trials, but, like, he's a very, very good young player. Like, just give him some time. I'm not trying to be too critical of Benji, obviously. It's his, he's a rookie coach, but bit of a strange one. And just I just don't really understand what the point of having Sullivan and Galvin with Caesar on the bench last game was for, because it just sort of, like, I mean, they're professional players, but, like, surely in the back of probably Galvin and Sullivan's mind was the fact that Caesar's on the bench. If I have a bit of a shocker here, I'm going to get hooked. So they probably already have, like, a little bit of a negative feeling going into the game that no spot should be, like, a certainty, especially for young guys, but I just don't get why you would sign, like, a guy like Caesar, who I think is still pretty solid. And I think for this Tigers team, it's what they need. Like, he's definitely not going to be, a star halfback and winning games for them, but, like, he's a very good general play kicker. He's got a good boot on him. Very solid defensively, and he just needs to steer the ship around and let, if they want to go with the young kid in Galvin at 6, let him run the ball and play off the back of that. So I think it just makes more sense, this team, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, Sullivan, I don't know. I guess at the same time, I've just never really been a fan of Sullivan with all the hype about him a few years ago. Just never seen it. So I like the fact that Caesar and Galvin are now the halves pairings. The Sharkies. So Nickera is out. Jack Williams goes into the back row. What the fuck? I love Jack Williams. I think he has just been plagued by injuries for years, but it finally feels like the last couple of seasons now he started to, get over those injuries, and he has been, like, I would say he's been their best middle forward. Like, he has been sensational coming off the bench through the middle. I just don't. Surely they have someone else that can play in the back row. I just don't see Williams as a back rower, right? Like, very strange. I mean, they got Billy Burns on the bench, who he is a back rower. And I mean, again, I don't like Billy Burns very much, but he is a back row forward. Jack Williams is a middle forward. Like, I don't know. That is a strange one to me. I would not be shocked if it's a late switch and Billy Burns goes into the starting lineup and Williams goes back to the bench. But other than that, it's pretty much standard. Nothing has changed for the Sharkies. Nico Hines hopefully can have a big one for us. Then we have the Eels v the Seagulls. So this is an interesting game. I feel like a lot of people... I think the Eels are favourites, but I feel like a lot of people are keen on the Seagulls. I don't know. I think the Eels could come out and play well in this one. So obviously Simonson is out. Morgan Harper stays on the wing. And Blaze Talangi goes into centre. Is that his debut, Talangi? I think so. He played some trials, but I don't think he's made his debut yet, which is exciting. Other than that, Joey Lussick obviously still there. Forward pack. No Brendan Hands. Well. So, hasn't this just thrown a spanner in the works? Well, what do you do? I think, at that point, the fact Hands is not there, they don't have a dummy half on the bench. Like, they just don't. Maybe Ryan Madison could go to dummy half in a pinch, but that's pretty much it. So I think Lussick is pretty much guaranteed 80 minutes unless an injury. So that is a interesting one. It's tricky. Well, yeah, we'll talk more about it in the preview because first thoughts, I don't know. Again, he could be another guy you just wait on because, like, Levi does have to go. I think Levi to Lussick is, like, just an absolute no-brainer, but they're both going to make money, and I don't think it's necessarily like it's not an urgent trade. I don't think, I've said this before, but Supercoach, it's not the stock market. You don't have to fucking get every player at their absolute tops and bottoms, right? If you lose a little bit of cash on, like, waiting a week, it's not the end of the world. Like, you'd rather get in if you're going to use, like, a boost to make another trade, you would rather get in a guy that's going to make a big difference. Like, if I was going to go Denny Levi to Lussick, I would be using a boost, and I wouldn't be playing Lussick. It just doesn't feel right. So I think that's a trade that I'll have to probably wait on. But again, we'll look more into it. The Seagulls, so yeah, Tommy Talau, it doesn't say he's out, but obviously Vega comes into the wing spots. Forward pack is same old. Okay, and Tommy Talau, he is in the extended bench, so maybe he's a wait and see. It would be nice if it is annoying that Talau got injured because, Vega is not that expensive, but he is like 330, I think, and it just would have been nice. Like, Tommy Talau, 270k, and this is what I was talking about with Tuapiki. Like, as soon as Tuapiki had peaked, or as soon as he was out of the team, you could probably go to Tommy Talau, who would have been about to make cash, and Saab probably would have been out for still a few weeks. So, but now it's sort of thrown that out the window. But we'll see. Tommy Talau, obviously, it doesn't seem like it's a serious injury, so potentially he comes in, or maybe next week. I don't know. We'll see. But honestly, Vega, he's a bit of a loose cannon. I do love watching him play, though. He's a bit of a madman. It's always a fun watch, though, with old Raymond out on the wing. He does love to jam and have a bit of words, so I like watching him. It'll be fun. It'll be funner this way, that's for sure. But other than that, not too much else to really talk about. Obviously, Luke Brooks v. Dylan Brown. That could be a massive decision that I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but they're playing each other, so it could go either way. And then we've got the final game, Knights v Storm. So final game of the round, Knights Storm. So I did see that as well. Greg Marju has an injured wrist, I think they said. So he's out. Nrl Supercoach is back. Didn't he do his... What did he do? His hammy or his... He did like a muscle, like an injury. So I'm really shocked that Tuala is back so soon. I mean, I guess it's handy for the Knights rather than having to bring in another sort of debutant. But yeah, I'm surprised Tuala is fit to go after his injury. Like, it wasn't like, I don't think it was serious, but like a muscle type injury like that, it was pretty quick turnaround. It's a little bit dangerous, I would say. We'll see. Jack Cogger. So, okay, Jackson Hastings has been dropped for Jack Cogger. Forward pack. Standard. Oh, Kai Pearce-Paul is still starting. So where is... Oh, Jane Brayley is also back. So he's the number 14. Saifidi, Hetherington, Cartwright. So Dylan Lucas is on the extended reserve. So that tells me that it's not like Dylan Lucas has been dropped. I mean, maybe not so much dropped. It's a bit harsh to say dropped. I don't think Kai Pearce-Paul has necessarily taken Lucas's spot yet. In this, it looks like Lucas potentially is still maybe suffering from the head knock, and he could be a late start. Again, I think Lucas deserves the spot to start the year. After a certain while, I mean, Kai Pearce-Paul, clearly is a more talented player, so potentially comes in. But I think if Lucas is fit to go, I think he does deserve the spot, and I think he will come into the team. So Kai Pearce-Paul, I still think is a bit of a... Again, I don't think he's a trap, but I don't think he's a slam dunk. Especially because he only scored he didn't score many points last week in 80 minutes. So he does have upside, and I think he will go big. But the Knights are just not clicking. It's good to see Cogger in the starting side. So hopefully he can just get their attack, just get it fucking moving. I can't remember them going left. I mean, that Kai Pearce-Paul playing on the left. Yeah, he scored shit because they just refused to do any sort of long sweeping plays to the left, which is literally what the Knights are the best at. So, very, very strange tactics from the Knights. I don't know what's happening, but could this be the game that they turn it around? They're going to be taking on a Melbourne Storm team, which is very, very under strength now. The Storm this year are a smoky. They are a smoky for the premiership because... they are mighty under strength. Now Christian Welch and Jerome Hughes are out, but they still look good. They still look really good with no Munster. Pappy's looking fit. He's looking fast. Will Warbrick is looking even better. He had his moments last year, but he by the end of the season, he really came into his own, but he's starting to look really solid. Nick Meaney, very good. Xavier Coates. Remus Smith, not a huge fan, but he's there. It'll be interesting to see this week, though. No Hughes and Munster. Pezzett has been good, but Tyron Wishart, a very solid replacement, but he doesn't have too much about his game. So it's going to be on Pezzett to sort of create, or maybe Harry Grant and Papenhausen are really going to up the ante this one. Forward pack, so Joe Chan is still there, and bench is the same. Kane Bradley is on the bench. Tapai Moroa. Yeah, I guess no. Yeah, Tyron Wishart has gone into the starting team. He was on the bench, and also Christian Welch has gone. So yeah, Moroa's come in, and Kane Bradley. So Bradley is a little bit of a fucking dangerous one for Joe Chan, maybe? I don't know. He was sort of the guy that was playing in the back row in the trials that everyone was like, oh my God, is he going to be the starting back rower? But it was Chan, so I don't know. Chan, I don't know, where does Bradley play? He's definitely only an outside back or a second rower. He's not going to play dummy half or I don't know. He might play through the middle, but they've got other middles, so I don't know. You still got Sean Bloor, you still got Jack Howarth on the extended, so I don't know. I mean, it seems like Chan has sort of won the spot. I mean, he looked pretty good last week. Doesn't have great base, but he's a good player. Like I've always said, he's a very good player. But yeah, we'll see. So that's all the teams. That's the team list. There's been quite a few shake-ups. Honestly, there's been some big inclusions, omissions. So yeah, in the next video, we'll do a preview and I'll go through my conundrums and my trades and all the plans. So hopefully, guys enjoyed this. Make sure to like and comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.